Right, so this is my Football League roundup, basically, where we just go through all the main leagues results in Football League from Championship to League 2 and discuss any of the eye-catching results and what teams played well and what teams didn't really. And basically we'll discuss what any managerial sackings and any managerial problems as well. So obviously start off in the Championship at Aston Villa 0, Brentford 0 on Saturday at Villa Park, which was a frustrating one for Aston Villa, with many Villa fans now fed up with Steve Bruce and started to call for his head, which is a big problem there at Villa Park, with obviously Tony Jai paying lots of money on the new team, including the likes of John Terry, Glenn Whelan, and obviously Sam Johnson returning on loan as well, just to name a few. And obviously spent big last year with Scott Hogan arriving for a big sum of money as well. Against the Brentford team, we've lost a lot of their big players, Harley Dean, Hotter as well on deadline day, and Maxime Collan as well. So they looked to deplete tie, but they'll still obviously come away from Villa Park, they're happy with the draw. And maybe they felt they could have won the game. A few big saves from Sam Johnson definitely kept them in it, but I wouldn't want to be a Villa fan at the moment. And obviously it depends what the hierarchy of Villa think for whether they should keep Steve Bruce or not. I was looking at the second game, was Bolton versus Middlesbrough. Basically Middlesbrough did run away with this one. Obviously Adama Traore had an absolute blinder of the game. Tore down that right hand side and tore Bolton apart in the first half of a never give up challenge for the ball and crossed it in for Sombolonga, and obviously Sombolonga in the air is never going to miss. And again in the second half, them two linked up again for the second, and obviously Marvin Johnson, £2 million signing from Oxford United, goes and scores a third, which is a good, well taken finish. Maybe Ben Alnwick could have looked at that and maybe fumbled that and looked at it as a mistake, but Middlesbrough, to me, we've seen the team we've seemed to slowly start this year, and maybe are starting to get it right now. For the international break could have come at a right time for them possibly, but yeah, it's a positive result for them. So it's big first away one of the season, but I look at Bolton and I think they could struggle this year. I think they've got a similar team to what Wigan were last year, where they were too good for the League One but might struggle in the Championship this year. And I don't see really many goals coming from the likes of Lafonda and Medine, and Adam Armstrong as well up front for them as well. And obviously look weak at the back, so it could be a long season for Bolton this year. So obviously the main thing in the Championship this year, main big scoreline this week was obviously Leeds thumping Burton Albion 5-0. And if I was a Leeds fan, I'd be very optimistic with Thomas Christensen, what he's building down there. It's a good team. Unbeaten in the league this year as well. I think 14 points they've got now, so they look absolutely solid. And the Sogo, who's come online from Hamburg, scored 2 massive goals ahead of a Kamar Roof, I think it was a Kamar Roof brace as well. I'm not too sure he got the 5th, but for Leeds, it's looking at a potential solid season. Another top 6 challenge awaits them after narrowly missing out in the playoffs last year on the penultimate game. But looking at Burton, again, it could be another one, and then teams like Bolton who could struggle this year. Obviously, they stayed up and did well to start up last year, but they could struggle this year. However, with likes of Joe Mason and Sean Scannell brought in on loan, I think they might still have enough quality to obviously avoid the drop. Obviously, looking down, we had Norwich defeat Birmingham 1-0. Obviously, Birmingham, Redknapp being Redknapp, spent loads of money on deadline day, and he knows the market well in this league. And he brought in the likes of Hotter and, as I said, Harley Dean and Maxime Collan from Brentford. I think there's about £9 million they spent on Brentford players, so they do look a good little team. But obviously, many Birmingham fans did say they look like a team who haven't played together, so to see them in full effect, they're going to obviously need to gel. And Redknapp's defiant and they're going to get in the top 6 this year, and did say that he's adamant they will. But looking at Norwich, have this very steady start this year. Daniel Farke looks like a more work in progress this year than instant overnight success, but a positive result for them really, and it takes them away from relegation zone and gives them a much needed win after their 4-0 hammering at Millwall before international break. So that's obviously quick, and looking down the QPR 2, Ipswich 1. Ipswich obviously went before international break. We obviously Fulham beat them 2-0 obviously. And I've always said that Ipswich are the type of team who could go a whole month unbeaten but could also go a month without a win as well. And obviously the first goal was unlucky. I think it's handball from QPR player, which obviously Connor Washington again goes and scores from. And a wonderful Luke Freeman strike as well. Made it 2-0 before Bertrand Chelina online from Man City goes and scores an absolute banger, but I think it was too late for them to get anything from the game. Looking at QPR this year, they haven't got a score that sets the world alight, but QPR fans have said anything above 18th would be a success for them. On Ipswich, I think they'll be suitable for mid-table this year. Had an absolute fly of a start, and then with likes of Waghorn and McGoldrick, they should be fine. I was looking down, Reading surprisingly got turned over by Bristol City 1-0. Aidan Flint, 84th minute goal. Been much of a talking point this summer transfer window about whether he'd stay or go, and it's probably one of the reasons why many managers want the transfer window to shut early in the Championship. Obviously, he hasn't played a game this season and starts at the Majestic and goes and gets the winner. Obviously, Reading frustrated for them. They had obviously new signing Shawnee Luco in their lineup. 7.5 million transfer from Fulham. They'll be looking towards top end of the table this year, while Bristol City will be probably settling in mid-table. Obviously, Sunderland as well, they got turned over by Sheffield United 2-1. Big Clayton Donaldson on loan from Birmingham, 2 massive goals. Very good signing for them at this level. He's a proven goal scorer, obviously done well with Birmingham under Gary Rowett. But obviously Redknapp's fell out of favour with him. But I think that's what Sheffield United needs, someone alongside Billy Sharp who's got a good bit of pace, power, and he's took both his goals very well. Also got himself injured with the second goal. But looking at Sunderland, I think they've got the right man in Simon Grayson, obviously on a shoestring budget, but they need to give him time as well. They've got a squad there that should be comfortable mid-table finish this year. However, I think if they want to achieve steady progress, they can stick with him. Obviously, looking down the league again, we have Wolves 1, Mill 0. Obviously, it's a big result for Wolves again, looking for promotion under Nuno Espirito Santo. They have an absolute flyer of a start, and Diogo Jota scored an absolute worldie in this game. And I think they'll be challenging for a top 6 place again this year. They look a good team, signed some really top foreign imports as well, big money spent as well. Looking at Millwall though, they've signed some good players, Meredith and McLaughlin being 2 absolute cracking fullbacks for League One. I also got in Jake Cooper, who was on loan for them last year, got him on a permanent from Reading, who obviously didn't start. Tunnicliffe, free transfer from Fulham as well. So they've got a good bunch of players down there. And I think that's enough quality there to get them through, because they look like they can score goals. So I think that'll just get them, keep them in the Championship this year. Also, the late kickoff was Sheffield Wednesday 3, Forest 1. Big result for Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Carlos Carvalhal hasn't really improved his squad much from last year, with a couple of transfers here and there. It was a big result for them, considering the average start they've had, with 1 win against Fulham, at Craven Cottage, along with a couple of other poor results up at Preston and a couple of draws here and there as well. Looking at Forest this year, Mark Warburton's come in, kept them up last year, and they've signed some good players from the Scottish Premier League and Barry Mackay. We've got Buchalakis, who scored 2 good goals at Brentford. Daryl Murphy will provide the focal point up front as well. And also Jason Cummings from Hibernian, who's a talisman, as always a fox in the box. So I think they'll take a challenge for the top 6 this year, maybe a top half finish for them. And it's quickly looking down the leagues in League One, we had Wimbledon 0, Portsmouth 2. It's a big result for them, obviously, for Portsmouth, after bouncing back from defeat against Rotherham in front of the Sky cameras last Sunday. Looking at the other results there, Charlton 2, Southend 1. So, Charlton having a superb start under Carl Robinson, which means they're doing it on the pitch, which is silencing the protest off the pitch. Well, we don't know how long that's going to last for, but looking at the way Charlton are playing at the moment, they're playing with so much confidence and freedom that under Carl Robinson, they feel like they can probably go up this year. And so looking down, main one this year was Northampton, obviously beat Doncaster. Jimmy Ford Hasselbank's first game after Justin Edwards' sacking. Hasselbank had to come and stop the rot this week, and he got that early goal from Matt Crooks. And it's a big result for them to get some points from the board after a win this August this year and a -8 goal difference beforehand. Obviously looking down again, Rotherham has achieved back-to-back wins for the first time this year with 3-2 win over Bury. Kiefer Moore getting 2 goals again. He's had a superb start. I think that's 6 or 7 now for the season. And they look like they'll probably survive this year. Along with Bury, who seemed to struggle this year on the right, Beckford getting their goal as well. I think it was I can't remember who got the last one, but I think Lee Clark's team are going to struggle. I mean, they've spent big. Chris Maguire, Josie, Rohan Ince, Jermaine Beckford as well. So they've got players who can play in this league and know the league well. I think it'll be a mid-table finish for them. And so looking to League 2, a big scoreline was Mansfield 4, Grimsby 1. I mean, Mansfield's the favourites for League 2 promotion this year. The likes of Murphy and Xander Diamond, Lee Angle scored 2 penalties, Conrad Logan and that. They've got winning experience throughout the team. They look like a solid outfit going forward. Also, Barnet back-to-back wins, 3-1 win against Cambridge. I mean, some shambolic defending from the U's in that game as well. They had a lifeline for a Leon Legs header at 2-1, but Shaquille Coulthurst, hot man in form, isn't he? Red hot after a hat-trick last week, 4 goals in 2 games. I think it's a positive result for Barnet, but I'm looking at Cambridge, and they don't offer much going forward, but they're solid at the back, so it could be a tough season for them. Also looking down at Luton 0, Swindon 3, it was a bit of a shock for me, considering Swindon had been battered 3-0 at home to Crawley 2 weeks ago and lost, I think, 4-1 to Barnet as well. But that was a big result for them to come onto the road at Kenilworth Road and get 3 massive points. I mean, a Luke Norris penalty, followed by a wonder strike from Chris Hussey, cut inside that left foot, outside of the boot, beautiful finish. And then Paul Mullin crashed in for 3, free summer transfer from Morecambe. And then just finally, Lincoln 2, Stevenage 1 at the Lamex. I mean, that was a big result for Lincoln, coming from behind to win 2-1. Goals from Sean Raggett, new transfer for Norwich, been allowed back on loan, and a good penalty from Big Ollie Palmer, so a transfer from Leighton Orient. So that's basically it. That's going to conclude our our Football League round up for this week. So yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday night of our preview for Hull vs Fulham, and then obviously Wednesday with the match review. So thank you for watching, guys.